I think this next one though could cause some bigger waves.
You think this is going to cause the waves right here?
This one's is classic. Chris Simms sees something that maybe other people don't see, because you had, as I mentioned, 2 quarterbacks in tier number 2. And I think for a lot of people, there are 4 quarterbacks. You got Stroud, you got Bryce Young from Alabama, Anthony Richardson from Florida, then you got Will Levis from Kentucky. I think people think, those guys are in the top 4. Maybe you can make an argument for anyone to be a little higher or a little lower. Not everyone's making the argument that you are about to for this next player, who is also in tier number 2 for you, the number 3 quarterback in the Chris Simms quarterback draft ranking is
Hendon Hooker. Why is this guy not getting more buzz? What is there not to like? I know he tore his ACL, all right? But this is not Michael Vick, right? I mean, okay, maybe he's not ready for week 1, whatever. Again, going off the film is what I'm doing. And all I know is I saw a really good-looking, like, on-the-money, pocket-passing quarterback who makes great decisions and, like C.J. Stroud, is way more athletic than people are giving him credit for. And, even where he might be even better than C.J. Stroud and definitely better than Bryce Young is his ability to see over the line and throw over the line. He had the most amount of throws of people in his face, and I'm just going to throw the 10-yard in cut over them. I don't care, right? Totally unaffected by the pass rush. That's where I give him tons of credit. But, one, decision-making, sure. It's another one where I'd go, it's really off the charts good. 2, the amount of NFL high-level throws. And again, when I say that, I just mean in the pocket, 12-yard out route, in the pocket, trash around you, 15-yard in cut. Oh, in the pocket, I had to sidestep somebody. I got a middle post going down the middle of the field in between 2 safeties. I got to kind of throw it on the line 30 yards down the field. Boom. Oh, I got pressure in my face, and I got a go route going down the right sideline. Let me throw it 50 yards and throw it high in the air so my guy can just go run up and get it. He does all of that. So that's where I loved Hendon Hooker, right? I mean, his motion is not my favorite. He's a natural thrower of the football. His motion is a little too vertical, which can allow the ball at times on a negative aspect to maybe spin instead of being driven. But with the way they line up, the way he was taught with Josh Heupel as the head coach, I mean, they throw so many balls outside the numbers, and he's consistently on the money, throwing into tight coverage. Comeback route, guy all over him, high and outside, guy catches it, tiptoes, and gets his feet in the bounce. It's just so much of that. So, there's the ACL and the age thing. That's the concern with Hendon Hooker. If you're going off film, I don't know how he's not in the top quarterback conversation.
6'3", 217, so good size. You mentioned he can throw over the line, maybe better than anyone in this class, but did turn 25 in January, so yes, 2-3 years older than some of these other quarterbacks who are coming out. And
so what I want to argue with people a little of this is like, why the does that even matter? What are we marrying them? Are we worried what they're going to look like at 51?
I think maybe dominating competition that is younger, less physically developed, worse.
Right.
It's like like having a high school senior play against some 8th graders.
Okay. I mean, I guess so. I just kind of look at it more like, got at Virginia Tech, didn't get the fair shot he should, was in a shitty offense, and just life took a little time to go to a place where, it made sense to develop as a quarterback. I don't know. The other stuff gets overblown to me at times. Mm-hmm. But I know it's hurting him. It sounds like it's hurting him from what I hear, or at least what people are trying to make it hurt him.
And people think also that offense in Tennessee was pretty good, and the design of the offense is pretty good, and maybe that is more of the reason why Hendon Hooker had this breakout, and not just him. I mean, it's always hard to extrapolate exactly what is Hooker and what is his
offense
scheme.
Isn't as good as the one in Alabama.
I mean, that's
right?
a good point.
You know what I mean? And then certainly, and to that point, C.J. Stroud certainly wasn't struggling, and it's a good offense. There's no doubt. There is. But what it does is it made him play like a pro and a pocket passer, and it made him make decisions. And, that's where you get to see that. And then, again, Another guy where, I know everybody wants Lamar Jackson and Justin Fields, but that, so you hear, oh, he's not real mobile.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, well, there's the Alabama game. He's running down the sideline for a 44-yard gain. And, oh, now it's Florida, and he's running down the sideline for a 30-yard gain. I don't know. That looks mobile to me. There's a whole bunch of guys that run 4-3 and 4-4 on those teams. So, and, that's not why you're drafting them anyways. What you're drafting him for is, like we were talking about with C.J. Stroud a little again. He has that element, except he's just not quite the pinpoint powerful thrower C.J. Stroud is, right? So that's where, him and Bryce Young, they're like opposites. I wish Hooker was a little bit more liberal in all his releases and had a few different things that way. At times, he can be a little too Statue of Liberty, feet on the ground and deliberate, right? And that's okay because he's big and he's going to put the ball in the money. But, I wish that at times he had a little bit of like the Bryce Young and just, hey, let it fly and let it flow. And, hey, my feet aren't exactly perfect, but I can throw this in there no matter what. He's shown me he can do it. I've seen enough of it. It's just not consistent, right? So there's that. And then, yeah, I wish his motion – where he's got good accuracy. He can lose the ball high at times, but that's because, we talk about it all the time. The motion should be more rotation around your body rather than I released at a really high point and then went to my opposite pocket, right, on my pants. That leads to spirals, but not the ball driving all the time. And that's where, like, C.J. Stroud has a clear advantage over Hooker. They do a lot of great things in the pocket, decisions. Stroud's decision-making is better. Stroud's ability to step on the gas pedal and make the power throw is also better than Hooker's. But Hooker's ability to step on the gas pedal and make the throw into tight windows is better than Bryce Young's, right? But his ability to move in the pocket and make people miss and make some of those other natural quarterback-y type plays is not as good as Bryce Young's. But this is where it's close to me is, Hendon Hooker's size and everything. It traditionally lasts the test of time more in the NFL than a guy like Bryce Young. And that's where, I think it's a little closer than people are giving it credit for, at least in my opinion, between the two guys there.
Yeah, you've already brought this up, but let's take a look at the visual evidence of this. He really is a pocket passer. That's what he was asked to do at Tennessee. No scrambles, was 261 or 361 of his dropbacks. He just scrambled 33 times.
Right.
So
he doesn't scramble unless he has to.
Okay.
He is going to he's going to dodge a guy.
You know who else did that? Tom Brady.
Well, a lot of do. Yeah. A lot. I mean, I bet you if we went back and watched Mahomes, you'd go, oh, man, he makes the guy miss and then makes a throw so much more than we really realize.
Sure.
Right? And that's where he is going to make a guy miss or break a tackle. I mean, he breaks tackles. Then he looks up and he goes, wait, is there somebody open for me to throw to? Okay, no, then I'll take off and run. But he wants to stand there and make the decision and make the throw. He's always under control. He's always smooth. Like, there's never herky-jerkiness in his motion or anything like that. Like I said, I wish it was around rather than so vertical. But, and then, another guy that does not need space to throw. Because of his size, he's got so many throws where he can't step into it, or he's just got to kind of lean back on his back foot and still make a 15 to 20-yard throw, and he does it with ease. And to me, again, maybe I'm different. I put a lot more credit into that type of stuff because those throws happen way more than you realize in an NFL game. We take it for granted, I think, in a lot of times because the NFL quarterbacks have gotten so good in that department that we just go, oh, yeah, throw another. And I go, no, this is playing life in the NFL, not being able to step into it, having to fade away, having to lean back, having to shorten your arm to throw a big-time throw. Because the coach is going, no, he's open. He's open. And, wait, you have enough room to throw right there, so throw it. Get it done, right? And that's where he's got great value in that department where maybe Bryce Young, if he doesn't make you miss and scramble, he's going to look more for the short throw, after he does that. Like, oh, I got pressure. I'm not going to hang in here and take a shot to throw the ball down the field anymore. I'm just going to get it to the check down and live to play the next down. So there's some difference there, and there's value to me in that, and as far as Hooker and what he does.
Certainly could be value in the draft if you like Hendon Hooker, because right now he's projected to go maybe end of second round,
I know.
maybe early third round.
I'm going to bet that changes.
All right, so
we'll see.
If you're a quarterback needy team, and you're maybe in the end of the first round, or if you're a quarterback needy team early that could trade back, I mean, what about late first round?
Definitely.
Mid first round.
I'm a definite there. I think he's a top half of the first round type talent.
Wow.
If you take away the ACL thing, I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, and obviously I feel a little different about the age thing, okay, maybe than some.
Yeah.
But, you know, wow, no. Again, that size, that athleticism, the decision-making, the ability to throw the ball, I think is really, really good. And I think it's definite first-round worthy. I mean, in a lot of ways, like, let's just put it simple. I like his game more than I do Kenny Pickett's from last year. And again, I'm not trying to be negative on Kenny Pickett's, but if you ask me like what I would like for the NFL and how that's going to translate, I go, no, Hooker would be, I want Hooker. That's what I would want. So
he might have been number one in your rankings last year then, right? He might have been over Matt Corral.
Well, he might have. You know, there's something to like about this kid. And then even in big, you know, the Georgia game, hanging in there, there was not a lot of people open, was under pressure a lot. He played solid. There was nothing wrong with his game. They didn't lose that game because of him. Other games down late in the game, you know, doesn't blink. Just makes one big throw after another. So I love everything about him. Like I said, the calmness, the patience in the pocket, the toughness, and then, of course, the throwing is really, really damn good.
And off the field, too. And on the field as a leader. You hear a lot of rave reviews about how he is and how he relates to his teammates and how he handles himself with the media after the games. And, of course, he does all that because he's significantly older than his teammates there. And so it's like dad yelling at you, so you have to fall in line.
The other thing he might have
Father Hendon.
Yeah, right, Father. Yeah, right. Let me talk to the old wise man in the locker room. But the other thing that I think is interesting about him that that I wrote in my notes is like, you know, there's some throws where you go, oh, I wish he would step on the gas here a little bit more. Or why doesn't he throw this one a little harder? He got it in, but just barely, right? And I do have a little where I might be like Deshaun Watson, where, and I meant this and that, where he gets to the NFL, because one of the things with Watson when he came out is I went, man, a lot of 88-mile-per-hour balls, 90-per-hour balls. Mm-hmm. Where's the fastball more? Does he have a fastball? Is his arm that strong, right? And then he got to the NFL, and like the first preseason game, I was like, oh my gosh, he just uncorks it every play now. And I think Hooker could have a little bit of that, like, oh wait, this is what I got to do to make it happen in the NFL.
Yeah,
no doubt, I could push up my miles per hour a little bit and still be accurate. You know, so that was another aspect that, you know, I think is a little bit of untapped for him in some ways. But like I said, effortless power thrower, needs to be better at the slick stuff, the side arms, the screens, you know, different arm angles. I wish the motion was a little different, you know. From time to time can lose control of the ball, like I said, just because of that motion overall being too vertical, but can throw it over the line, you know, and his patience and seeing the field are great, and his ability to make, you know, accurate power throws is pretty damn special. Thanks for watching, homies. Hit subscribe to see all my Unbuttoned videos. You get to see me, Ahmed Fareed, all the big player breakdowns, game breakdowns, player interviews, and my film analysis. So please subscribe. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Peace out.